Hello and welcome to Success here at Nimbus. And I'm delighted to introduce Dave. Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
Oh, hi, Paul. How are you doing? You're right.
Yes, really good, thanks. So, Dave, am I right? I think you're a developer and you've been with Nimbus for a little while now?
Yes, certainly am. Yeah. I've been with you guys probably 2 years now, and fully utilizing the system as much as possible, and doing really well with it.
Amazing. So, if you kind of cast your mind back to a world kind of pre-Nimbus, what were some of the sort of challenges and problems you kind of faced back then?
Well, I suppose like every developer, the challenges we faced were probably around deal flow, lack of deal flow, lack of good quality deals coming through, relying on agents, middlemen, brokers, commercial agents to drip feed you stuff as and when they've got it. As you know, 9 times out of 10, the deals didn't work, or they're overpriced. And the one or two opportunities that were out there, we often found that we were in a position where we were just, it was like a free for all. It was like a race to the bottom. Who can pay, who can pay the most for that opportunity?
Yeah, pretty proper down. Yeah.
I guess maybe one of the other challenges we found as well was, I suppose, maybe pre-Nimbus. I think a lot of people forget how labor intensive it was to actually analyze a site and deal with all the problems. So if you just think back, you had to go to at least about half a dozen websites to find the information. Historic England, the flood zone, you had to go to various property portals to find out pound per square foot. A conservation area, green belt, do I have to look at the local plan? There was a huge amount of time and effort going into it, and it just kind of detracted you and took you away from other opportunities.
Amazing. So then, I guess, so how does Nimbus kind of help you with those problems? Yes, that's kind of a pre-Nimbus world, is it? So kind of where are you now? How does Nimbus help now?
Well, I suppose Nimbus for us, it just allows us to have a huge amount of data at our fingertips. We're able to tap into various different tools, layers. It allows us to find so many opportunities that weren't available pre-Nimbus. You've got some fantastic layers like the vacant building layer and what have you. Our volume has increased an awful lot as well. So the amount of opportunities that we're coming across. So we do, I suppose pre-Nimbus, we were probably only doing 30, 40, 50 letters a month, which I thought was all right. Didn't know any different. Got involved with you guys, just found how easy it was to find the opportunities, even without using the layers, just going old-fashioned, having that lawnmower effect of just going from street to street to street, putting on that OS master map layer, and just finding all those ownership details, which we didn't have access to that before. So even from a cost perspective, we've dramatically reduced our cost, because I would say probably at least 60 to 70% of the opportunities we find, Nimbus provides the ownership details. So that's effectively saving us £3 a pop every time that we don't have to go to the land registry. And if you're pumping out, I mean, last year we were putting out somewhere in the region of about 750 to about 1,000 letters a month. So you can start adding up how much money we're saving just using Nimbus alone.
Yeah, totally. And that stuff's translating into deals, is it, and things like that at the moment?
Yes, it certainly is. Again, it's like everything, it's a numbers game. The more time you spend on Nimbus, the more we found, the more productive we were. We were coming across a lot more deals. We were, out of those 1,000 letters a month we were putting out, we were probably only getting back somewhere like maybe 5-6% response rate. But we weren't too worried about that, because there was the deals and the vendors that were coming back, they were the ones that we specifically wanted to approach anyway in the first place. So, it wasn't the stuff that all the agents were sending us that didn't fit our criteria. We knew what our criteria was. We knew what areas we wanted to focus on, and we know what deals we wanted. So we actually approached those owners. So when they came back, they were exactly what we were looking for. we started analyzing at least 10, maybe 15 times more deals than we were previously analyzing. And as a consequence, we were making more offers. And the follow on to that was we were just simply tying up some really good deals. So yeah, we're working on some really exciting things right now. We've got something which is in West London. We are hopefully exchanging and completing in 2 weeks' time. That was purely found as a direct result of using your OS layer. It was a freehold title. There was no structure on the land. That prompted me to do a little bit more investigation. And then when I used the street view, I found there was actually a structure there. Interesting story. The guy had started a building 12, 13 years ago. The land became landlocked. He didn't have any deed of easement to come across, just boarded up the site. The good thing about using Nimbus is it allows you to find these sites that you'd never, ever have an opportunity to find. The reason this was still available was because it was off a main road, off a side road, and then off a little cul-de-sac. And the only people that actually knew about the site would be the people who were actually living next door to the site, because it was a back garden development. It's taken me a year to agree terms and get the heads of terms from the housing association who actually own the road coming into the site. And I'm pleased to say that we actually agreed terms yesterday, and that's how we're able to exchange and complete in 2 weeks' time, which is just as well because I've got builders starting in 3 weeks. But yeah, we've got another one which is in West London. This actually was found using your planning export tab. So what we did there was I'd like to think I've got a fairly good comprehension of the planning system. So I know which planning applications can be fixed and which can't. There was 3 issues for refusal for this site. It was a site which, that someone had gone in for 7 units. They'd got a refusal. They hadn't done anything with the last 2 or 3 years. I knew I could, using my knowledge and my team, we could fix that. Once lockdown started to ease, I think it was around September, October time, myself and my project manager, we went out to site. We met the owner. She was really keen to do something with the site. She didn't have the knowledge, she wasn't really a property professional, so she didn't really know how to fix the issue. We formed the JV. We're just in the process of setting up the SPV now. I've already got the site in for planning. It's already in for pre-app, and that's we've actually gone in for 9 apartments, 4 2-bedrooms and 5 1-bedrooms. And again, that was just purely a site we found using Nimbus's planning export tab. The last one, I have to admit, is quite exciting. It's a little bit out of the norm. It's not for the faint-hearted. People always tell you not to do any form of development in the green belt. I can see the reason behind it, but there's still a lot of opportunity out there if you know what you're doing and you know what to look for. So it's actually a site in Sunbury and Thames, again, West London, and it's a land assembly I've put together. So this is the beauty of using Nimbus. You can actually use it to find the decent sized gardens that you can see some decent opportunity on, and then you can just put it in front of an architect. He'll scheme out something, and 9 times out of 10 there's a deal to be done. So we've got a scheme of 52 units which we've submitted to Spelthorne Council back in March. We've promoted it through the call for sites. That's going to go into the local plan, and that's got a GDV of 23.5 million.
Nice. Definitely is opportunity for Greenbelt, and it sounds like. That sounds pretty exciting stuff. So Nimbus, sounds like Nimbus has kind of changed the way you work quite a bit. I mean, that's I suppose quite a big change. That kind of different way in which you kind of approach your workload now with Nimbus compared with before, presumably.
Yeah, the workload. What we've done is we've seen Nimbus and Excel work really well together, hand in hand. So we've really kind of pushed that angle, and we've also integrated Nimbus with our CRM. So not only are we able to scrape Nimbus and use it, that powerful tool for finding these really off-market, obscure opportunities, but when we're able to download that information into Excel, we're able to utilize the filter function to even break it down a little bit further to find the best deals, I guess, as it were. And then we're able to integrate all that into our CRM, where the rest of the team, the QSs, the project managers, the architects, all have access to, and then they can take over the realms and then basically push it forward. But yeah, we like to think we've integrated it quite a lot, actually, and it works really well. I will say something: the quality of the workflow has improved an awful lot. Pre-Nimbus, again, like I said, we were kind of analyzing stuff that probably wasn't the best fit for our model. But going forward, yeah, we're a lot more efficient. One thing we utilize Nimbus as well a lot is using your workflow with our CRM. So we're able to track all the first letters, second letters, third letters, and then maybe a year later, we're able to send out one follow-up yearly later. And quite often what we find is it's only on the second, third, or fourth letters that we send out that you've built up enough momentum and you've had enough touch points that people actually start to buy into you and come back to you. So that's made a significant difference to our business.
Yeah, makes it kind of very real. Once you've got that third or fourth letter, it's a very real approach, isn't it? At that point,
yeah, certainly.
It's a much better response rate at the back of that. Fabulous. So, what if you had to say one feature? What do you think the most helpful feature is in Nimbus?
Ooh, Paul, I'm going to struggle now because there's so many good features.
You'll just say.
I can't give you one. I can touch on two or three really good ones very quickly, if you don't mind.
Yeah, by all means, yeah.
First and foremost, the OS layer has been absolutely game changing. You're quickly able to strip out all that noise, all that vegetation, all those cars, all the stuff that kind of distracts you and takes you away and takes you away from seeing what the potential of that site is. So you're able to see the boundary, you're able to see the houses, you can find small bungalows on large plots, and you can try and find those infills, those kind of those missing twos, if you know what I mean, when it comes to trying to find a site, a vacant plot in a residential area. I will say you've got a couple of nice features. One which probably isn't all that well known is on your planning tab, planning export tab. You've got a little slider which you can adjust the dates and you can adjust the size of the units that you want to look for. If you adjust the slider, if you go back a year, so you've got one date you need to put in, you've got to put in another date. If you go back a few years, you can actually find lapse planning applications. And we've done really well utilizing going back at least a year, but then going back to another 3 years after that. So you're finding all the lapse that's happened in the last year or two. That's been a good little feature. We've also done pretty well from building a really good power team from Nimbus. So when you download all that information from the planning portal, you've got a list of good quality sites. If you scroll all the way over to the right hand side, you get to see who the agents are putting in those applications. So you've obviously got the ones who are getting all the refusals, so you obviously want to stay well away from them. But you can start to build up a picture who's doing really well with HMOs in the area, who's getting the consents for those office to resi, or there's no new build schemes. So yeah, we've built a really good power team of professionals around that one. I would say. Lastly as well, I would say there is one little feature that you came out with recently which has made a big difference. On the ownership info panel, you've come out with the with property sold within the last 18 months. Now that's quite important because then you can quickly identify who's selling and who's in a selling mode and who isn't selling. And quite often when you click on, there's a little tab above, I think it's property related properties or something like that. You can click on that. You can actually identify all the other properties they've got in the UK. So if they've sold 25 properties and they've still got another 80 properties left, there's a strong likelihood that they'll probably entertain an offer on 1, 2, or 3 of the other properties they've got within their portfolio. And yeah, that's been quite a useful little tool for us.
Amazing, amazing. So what advice would you give someone who's considering Nimbus? Kind of, would you recommend it? What do you think?
Paul, so you just cut out me there.
I'm sorry. What advice would you give? Yeah, what advice would you give someone that's considering Nimbus at the moment?
I would say just try the free trial. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. Have some training on it, and it will 100% dramatically change your business. I know it has done for me. For me, it's been life-changing. You know, I haven't just done 1 or 2 or 3 deals, but in any one of those deals I just mentioned are all life-changing deals in terms of monetary and financial gain. It's, you know, even the first deal alone is paid for my subscription at least 300 times over, let alone the other deals we're working on. I would say there's probably never been a better time to subscribe to something like Nimbus. And I'll tell you why. The UK is undergoing a massive change in the planning system. We've already seen all the new PD changes that came out in September. We've seen a massive overhaul to the use class order. We've got Class E, which is just coming out. That's opened up a huge amount of properties that historically were really difficult to try and convert or get planning on. So the government are encouraging us to build upwards, build and convert buildings which like dentists, doctor surgeries, nurseries, which are historically really difficult. And I just feel right now, if you don't have a tool like Nimbus to be able to help you source, find, approach, make those initial direct to vendor approaches, then you are going to be left behind, because there's going to be some big development going on over the next few years. There's going to be a very big bull run in the market. That's my own personal feeling, and a tool like Nimbus will definitely help you get to where you need to go.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for your time today. We feel very, very grateful for your very kind words today. So thank you very much indeed for today, and we'll look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yeah, that's been brilliant, lovely. Thanks, Paul. And it's been a great experience. And like I said, you've got a client for life.
Fabulous. Brilliant. So we'll leave that. That's brilliant.